What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to be continuing on with our series on iOS development using UIKit by talking about programmatic UI versus storyboards. Now, let's first talk about storyboards. So storyboards is something that used to not be directly incorporated into Xcode. Instead, it used to be its own application called Interface Builder, and they still use Interface Builder for the storyboards. It's just built into Xcode now. Storyboards and Interface Builder allow you to drag and drop controls onto your user interface and then apply constraints and configure different properties of your controls, kind of in a visual designer. So if you open a storyboard file, you'll see what I'm talking about. However, that's not the only way to do it, right? With storyboards, if you want, in order to put actions on your buttons or stuff like that, you have to use outlets and actions. So IB outlets is just a way for you to reference your controls in your code, in your view controllers, and then IB action, which is what Storyboard uses for action methods, is what you use for, say, having a method that executes when you tap a button. And that works fine. You can do it that way. That's perfectly acceptable. However, in this series, we are going to be showing you how you use programmatic UI. So we're going to build our UIs and their functionality in code, entirely in code. No storyboards, nothing. All right? So we need to know exactly how we can configure our project to no longer use storyboards. Well, we're going to start that process in our scene delegate. So here you can see we have guard let underscore equals UI window scene. Well, with the storyboards, the window, the optional window that we saw at the top of our scene delegate, that gets automatically initialized and attached to a window scene. However, in programmatic UI, we have to do that manually. So, inside of this method, let's go ahead and get rid of these comments. So I'm going to go into Xcode. All right. And here, we are going to change underscore to window scene. Like that. So now, right? So now we have guard let window scene as scene equals UI window scene. So now our window scene is as our window scene here, and if it fails, because this is an optional operation, if this fails, we just return out of the method. Nothing will happen. All right. Next, we are going to initialize our window by saying window equals UI window, and then we're going to pass it a window scene. And we're going to pass it window scene. Then we're going to create an instance of our view controller, which in our app right now is just called view controller. So let's call it main VC equals view controller. Like that. Cool. after we've created an instance of our view controller, we need to then set the root view controller on the window. So we can say window question mark, because again, window is still optional. So window dot root view controller equals main VC. And then finally, we need to say window dot make key invisible. And what make key invisible does is it basically says, hey, show the window, right? Show the window on screen. Show our app UI. And that's all we need to do for now. When we start looking at navigation and tab bars and stuff like that, we'll be modifying this code a little bit more. But for now, this is fine. The next thing that we need is we need to get rid of the storyboard altogether and all of its references. So let's go into our navigator and into our project navigator. Now, we want, so main storyboard, just get rid of it. We want to move to trash. We don't want to just remove the reference. We want to get rid of the storyboard altogether, so it's no longer in our project. However, if we try to run this now, our app will crash. And why will it crash? And the reason why it'll crash is because in our info property list file, we're still trying to reference our main storyboard. It still looks for it. And because we've deleted our main storyboard, it's not going to find it. Therefore, it's going to crash. So go into your project itself here. Go into the navigator here. We want to go into our project itself here. We'll go out of the navigator. We want inside of this tab chooser, we want info. All right. So let's go into our properties here. Let's go into the outline view. Let's see here. Main storyboard file, a base name, delete that. So now that reference to our main storyboard is gone. We're going to leave the launch screen alone. And let's see. So application scene manifest. Let's open that up. Make sure that everything in there is good to go. Okay, well, scene configuration. Okay, that should be good. We should be good to go. So now that we have our storyboard reference gone, make sure you save the file and let's try to run it in our simulator. Let it do its thing. We see build succeeded. Simulator's booting up here. Let it kind of do its thing. Oh, I see what it's trying to do. It's trying to run on my iPhone. So let's change the run destination. We want the toolbar, activity view, path. We'll change the run destination to, let's see, we want, we'll go 15 Pro Max. Okay, go ahead and run this now. Build succeeded. Okay, let the simulator run here. It's loading. And there's our app. It's blank right now. Okay. So we can see that everything is working as we intended it. Unless it decided to crash, which I don't believe it did. Let's go into the debug area just to make sure. Okay. Okay. So let's see, we've got. Okay, so we didn't remove all the references to the storyboard. It still tried to find it. So let's go back into our info and try to find where this reference lies. Let's see. We want info. Okay. Let's see here. Bundle version. Okay. Supported interface orientations. Okay. So it's trying to find the storyboard somewhere. Portrait. Okay, that's not what we're looking. That's not what we're looking for here. Here we go. So we want this storyboard name. So get rid of our storyboard name here get rid of that. And this is under the default configuration here. So once we get rid of that main, of that storyboard name reference, we can try to run our code again. Build succeeded. And now, when we go into our simulator to run our app, everything is good to go. The app no longer crashes. So now we have our app up and running with our programmatic UI without storyboards. That was a bit of a journey trying to find all the references to the main storyboard, wasn't it? But once you have that set up and you've done it a few times, you'll get better at it, right? Even I sometimes forget at least one of the references. Sometimes I forget altogether to remove the references because I'm scatterbrained. But once the app crashes, I realize, oh, right, I need to remove the main storyboard references. So don't worry about it if you forget it and it takes you a while. That's okay. You're meant to learn. All right, so that pretty much does it for this video, guys. Thank you all so very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.